Health is not something we talk about. Health is the absence of disease. That's what health is. But some active, participatory definition, never. The new dance that I learned in Indian country was that to be healthy was to live a life in balance. It meant what you knew with your head, what you said with your lips and acted out by your actions, and what you felt in your heart and soul were all telling the same story. The world of knowledge, the world of action, the world of emotion, the mind, the body, the spirit, the head, the lips, and the heart. It doesn't matter what you call this paradigm. But when you are connected in those worlds, when what you feel is also what you say, and what you say is what you mean and what you deliver, that what you believe is really how it is that you behave, when you are telling the same story, then you stay healthy. What does it have to do with mental health? How do we stay mentally healthy? What does it mean to be mentally healthy? If I tell you that 25% of all Americans carry a mental illness diagnosis, are you surprised?
No.
25% of all Americans are mentally ill. Look around your relatives. One of every four of you has a diagnosis. How did we get so many mentally ill Americans? Because we live in an age in which unacceptable behaviors are defined as diseases. Unacceptable behaviors. If we don't like it, you're sick. It's not enough to be shy or sad. You want to go to a party because you're not sure you're going to meet anybody that you like, and there's nobody that you know, and you stand up against the wall. You could be suffering from a social phobia, for which, of course, there is a pill. Yes. Who do you think is purveying the idea that somehow you could be suffering from an illness for which we have a pill? A pill for everything that ails you. It's virtually un-American to feel anything other than wonderful in every moment. If you are feeling in any way out of the ordinary, surely you can take something that will cure you, that will make you feel better, from shyness to boredom to tiredness. And of course, then we create new diseases. We are now in another incarnation of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. In another couple years, by 2012, we will have DSM-5. Are you familiar with this book?
Oh, yeah.
DSM-5, a Diagnostic Manual of Psychiatric Disorder. When I trained, admittedly, in the Mesozoic era, there were 40 diagnoses, 40 psychiatric illnesses. Now, 350, and the next one there will be 500. So this is why we come together when we ask this discussion on Friday night. What are we doing here, and how come the corporate marketplace isn't here, and the insurance companies aren't here, and they need to be involved in this dialogue? You know. This is a place to gather in community to remind us that we are not alone there, right? You are connected to kindred spirit. They remind us of those pieces of ourselves that we would choose to indulge, but that often get frustrated, if not beaten down. We are discouraged from this kind of heartfelt caring. It takes too much time, and it's of course not reimbursable. We can't afford to do it. So the way we teach it is in ways other than what it is you get exposed to here, which is why we come together. Every individual is the principal agent in their own healing. Everyone, and that we need to be instruments to inspire people to choose to become the principal agents in their own healing. If you've suffered from burns, you want to talk to other people who've shared the experience, people who've taken alternative routes. You want to open up people to all of the choices that allow them to become agents in their own healing. You want to break down the boundaries that separate us. We live in a civilization in which we are erecting more boundaries and then obliterating those people who don't agree with our definition. We need to find some ways to make the boundaries more permeable. People of every race, every ethnicity, all of whom have healing skill and talent, talking to each other about how they deal with what's going on in their lives. Teachers as well, coming together and talking about what it would take to work with kids who are hard to handle. You understand, we need to find a way to open up community resources to each other. These are the kinds of things we need to be doing and to be reminding ourselves of, because otherwise we are drowning out there in our sense that one cannot somehow beat the system. We are part of the system. We are in a current state in contemporary American mental health that is a result of essentially psychopathologizing the ordinariness of the human experience. We are redefining unacceptable behaviors as diseases and doing it by committees who are essentially supported by drug companies who have a vested interest. And even if the researcher says, I am not influenced by the 1.6 million that I'm putting away in my bank account, I really think we need to be pushing more drugs. We need to build more community. You need to find some way to make connections. Nobody makes it alone. We need to find ways to fill our cup, because otherwise you can't do the work. Nobody can be suckled on demand. You can only suckle when you're full. This is not original material, right? This is Jesus Christ in the Sermon on the Mount. Your cup's got to be full before it flows over. Find ways to fill your cup. Nurture yourself. Find something to suck from. And then share that which fills you with those people who you can care for. Care for. Health care. We need to get back to caring, not to prescribing, diagnosing, and subordinating people in chemical straitjackets. That's the task. What it is that you can get away with defines morality in this country. It has less to do with what's right and wrong than what it is that can be argued in a court of law, so that our values are now being perpetrated by attorneys who tell us what's right or wrong. If you can get away with it, it's right. So this is the culture. The pointing of the finger has become commonplace. In this country, you can't get reimbursed unless you have a disease. And you get more money if you are disabled. So now, of course, there is this kind of interesting perpetuation of your illness, because as soon as you get better, the benefits stop. So you have to spend at least as much time convincing the person who's trying to heal and treat you that you are not better in order to justify your continued support. You have to convince somebody that you're really not getting well. I mean, the system colludes in changelessness. People who feel helpless and hopeless use that as a defense against change. It's hard to transcend the boundaries of economics and class, but I think that when one comes from a place of need and somebody reaches out in a caring way, then our differences, they melt. Feelings, after all, they have no ethnicity, they have no color. As a species, we can only feel certain things. We get happy, we get sad, we get angry, we get miserable, we get orgastic, we get excited, we get miserable. We can only feel the same things. We express them differently, perhaps, but we can identify with each other's emotional states. That allows us to cross all culture,